Next on the line, we have Adam Jones, Chief Operating Officer of DataWallet. Welcome, Adam. You there?
Julia, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to
Hey,
be on.
great to have you on. See, you work with data, right?
I do.
We are overwhelmed with data nowadays. And a lot of us don't know what to do with them, and a lot of us don't know what other people or entities will do with them. Do you think there are enough regulations for data privacy, or you think we need more?
Sure. I think the real question is not about more or less regulation, but having the right regulation. We've seen a wave of new legislation being passed around the world over the past several years, first in Europe, now it's state by state in the United States. And I think in general, these regulations are doing a good job of giving more ownership, insight, and control into one's personal data. The real issue that we're seeing here in the United States, though, is that federal legislation seems to be bogged down, which has led states like California, Maine, Nevada to take the lead, which comes with its own risks.
Okay. And then tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so Data Wallet has two core features. The first is a data compliance product that helps companies around the world comply with these new pieces of data privacy regulation. And the second is a consumer to business data exchange that allows individuals like you, me, and all of our viewers to sell our data directly to data consumers like advertisers, lenders, and insurers. And this may be of interest to them because this means that you, me, and everybody watching this year can make money off of their own data.
Yeah. And then what do you say to the small businesses or entities who say cannot afford you because you're probably a little bit more expensive than they would like to? How do they protect themselves in this environment?
Sure. So when it comes to data privacy regulation, we actually do have a very affordable product. And as a company, we think it's much more affordable for these small businesses to outsource their compliance risk to somebody like us, rather than hiring lawyers, technologists, and compliance professionals to do it in-house. When it comes to buying data, Data Wallet is really only acting as a middleman, and we're facilitating connections between the small businesses, their existing customers, and potential customers so they can buy the data that they need directly from their customers, which allows them to, one, form more trustful and impactful relationships with their customers, but two, access better quality information that allows them to better serve their customers through better products and services and more customized products.
Okay. And then I want to talk about the current pandemic that we unfortunately are all experiencing. And small businesses around the country are especially getting hit very hard. What is
Absolutely.
the administration trying to do to make their lives easier? And how should they be more mindful about data in this climate?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you asked that question. I think the administration is doing some great work in terms of offering relief in the forms of loans and other programs. But more importantly, when it comes to data, I know a lot of small businesses are confused right now about what to do. We've seen countries around the world take different approaches to using data to combat the coronavirus. China, in the most extreme sense, is using surveillance to give coronavirus susceptibility scores to their citizens. Russia is using facial recognition technology to make sure people stay quarantined. Singapore and Israel are using location data to track the historical whereabouts of people infected with data, as well as those who they've come into contact with. And in the United States, we've now seen the White House and the CDC ask companies, big technology companies like Facebook and Google, to share data to help combat this virus. Data Wallet has put out a paper that helps companies navigate this to help them both protect the privacy of their employees and customers while helping the government combat the spread of this virus.
Okay. Do you think technology companies like Facebook and Google are in a good position to decide where is the line? Because I remember every time, say, a regulator
Sure.
agency or even a criminal investigator, they go to one of these and say, oh, you got to unlock this phone or give us access to this account because we have a dire case here. And yes, it's a
Sure.
legitimate case. But the problem is once you start, you set a precedence, right?
It is.
In the future, they can always point to that and say, oh, you did it that time. Why can't you do it again? So do you trust the big techs as the gatekeeper?
Personally, I don't. As a company, DataWallet does not either. And I think Facebook and Google have actually asked for more clarity on regulation so they don't have to bear the full responsibility of deciding what data gets shared. And to that end, I think it is important to eventually enact data privacy regulation at the federal level rather than having to contend with 50 different pieces of state regulation. Companies will have that clarity about what they share and what is legally permissible for them to share in instances like this.
Okay. And then are you aware of any other new plans from the administration to support small businesses during this crisis?
Other than what we're hearing in the news, assistance loans, better unemployment benefits. No, I'm not. But this is something that, as a company, that we're very much staying attuned to because, like many other small, medium, and large businesses, DataWallet itself is seeing a slowdown in economic activity, whether it's decreased responsiveness from our vendors or even pausing our ongoing sales negotiations as companies, very understandably, are reacting to a much higher priority issue.
Okay. And then one last thing. I think we're going to get through this health crisis in general for individuals and small business owners. What are some of your suggestions for them to practice going forward in terms of data privacy?
Yes, I think this has really raised a new challenge when it comes to data privacy. We're now seeing a delicate balance between personal privacy and the usage of data for the public good. And so I think once some of the threat of coronavirus starts to subside, I think it's behoove every company to take stock of their own data privacy policies, their own compliance projects, and make sure that they're striking the right balance between using their customers and employees' data for appropriate purposes and not imperiling their personal data privacy and their data rights.
All right. Adam Jones, thank you for joining us. Hope you stay healthy.